I shared one family secret, and it turned my entire life into a crime scene overnight. It had been a long, hard road growing up as a kid with parents who were chronic shoplifters. For the longest time, I kept it a secret from everyone, even my closest friends, even my best friend Alice, because I was so scared of what they might think of me. But one day, I decided to tell her about it. Pinky, swear me you won't tell anyone else, I said with worry in my voice. I just felt so alone and trapped. I needed to tell someone close to me other than my own family who already knew too much about it. I couldn't tell a therapist because my family couldn't afford therapy, which I thought was a weak and lame excuse for not wanting to take care of my needs. But the next day, I realized that everyone was staring at me as soon as I entered the room in my calculus class, staring at me in a not so nice way. Usually they'd greet me with some type of acknowledgement, but no, not today. That's when I pulled up my Instagram and saw what looked like a photoshopped picture of my mom and myself. She was staring up at the ceiling with dollar signs and money in hand while I stood there patting her on the back. It was such a creepy pic, but it got so many likes, reposts, and shares. How could this be happening to me? How could Alice have sabotaged me when I specifically told her not to? So I reached for my phone and gave her a call, furious. Alice, I am going to freaking kill you, I whispered into the phone loudly enough so that she could hear me, but not loud enough so that my mom or the rest of my family could. I didn't want them knowing I had filled her in and she had sabotaged me. Why? She said groggily, acting as if she was just waking up. I didn't do it, she snapped. It wasn't me. It was a friend of mine, Priscilla. I begged her not to tell anyone, but she didn't listen. I begged you not to tell anyone, and you did anyway. Thanks. So I hung up with a touch of sarcasm in her face. What happened next? I wasn't expecting at all. My father had likely been downstairs doing Lord knows what, probably counting money with my mother. All I knew was that it had been quiet moments before when suddenly I heard footsteps running swiftly up toward me, and then a hand on the nape of my neck. It was my father. He was hysterical. What did you do to your mother? He screamed right into my ear. Nothing, I screamed back. And then he left me hanging there without another word. That's when I heard a faint knock on the door of my room. I opened it. It was Alice. Alice? I said, poking my head out the door. And then an entire group of our friends popped in, asking all kinds of questions. Is your mom really a thief? Did your mom steal all the time? I couldn't hide my embarrassment. That's when my mom crept up the stairs. I knew it was her by the pacing and sound of her footsteps. I wasn't expecting her to come into my room, but she did, and I let her in without even thinking about it, despite the fact that there was a whole group of us in the room whispering about her. As soon as she came in, though, everyone instantly froze. Oh my God, Alice screeched. Are you seriously the, mom? She said with a huge nervous grin. That's when my mom pulled out a knife from her back pocket and looked me straight in the eyes. If you ever talk about me like this again, then I will kill you, she said, and smacked me across the face right in front of all my friends. Then she grabbed Alice by her hair and started to smack her. That's when my father came rushing up the stairs. He had called the police, not on just me, but on all of us. He framed himself as well as my mother. Later on, he told me that he did it to protect us, but it made little sense when he was essentially turning himself in addition to my mother. Although CPS had taken me away from my mother and father on that very strange day and placed me into the hands of a foster home, I was beyond thankful.